Okay, everybody must know this. It's talking about gratitude and ingredients had to get the results that you require or you need for the effects or the effect that you need to have. Right? It's about acknowledging what you're putting in your body to get the effects to to undertake or to do exercises. All right, so it's acknowledging what gets you in the mood to to do certain things. All right, so in the areas of exercise and working, namely, I'll focus on exercise. All right, so exercise, for example, you might have saw a video I put up recently on a quick short, showing you some punching, what I refer to as fighting routines. Now, the word fighting is constantly being mistranslated for infighting nowadays. People are saying that, they want to have a fight. And they're saying fighting is when they strike each other or they hit each other. They say that punching a person, punching each other is fighting. I say that's not fighting, that's infighting. It's incorrect, inadequating each other. You're putting each other in danger by, going and putting each other on a spot in the ring to try to punch each other, try to strike each other to cause injury. Sometimes people don't make it. Sometimes people, they end up passing away and deceased from such things. So this is the infighting, okay? The fighting, whereas the fighting is of the soul. It's about yourself. It's about correcting who you are to make yourself fit. And you might say, what does that have to do with punching and kicking? Well, you notice these areas of punching and kicking and, headbutting and kneeing and elbowing or striking, they're all conditioning a certain part of your body, and that is the bones. Have you ever asked why other exercises are there for? You've got your cardio for your, they say it's for your heart. I say that's more for your lungs, more for a breathing sort of exercise. Whereas I say the the resistance or the weights training is more for the heart because it's about keeping up that pulse rate in between the sets. So you don't let it down. You try to keep it the same, and it's more. If you notice the weights or the resistance training, it's more for your veins. Your veins become more pronounced when you do those exercises. So veins, thus heart pulse beat for your heart. And when you do the weights, when you lift a weight, your heart rate goes up and it goes down. Whereas when you're jogging or you're doing any sort of motion training, you're focusing on your breathing and trying to keep that the same way all the way through. Okay, and you notice once you're finished the exercises, you're sweating and your pores are, you feel it's more refreshing after those sorts of exercises. So that's why I say those exercises are more for the respiratory system, for the breathing aspect, whereas you got your resistance training or your weights training, it's more for your heart, that's more for the cardio. And then you got your punching and your kicking, you got your fighting exercises for your bones. But I tell you, nobody's mentioning this right now. Okay, you won't hear it anywhere. There are certain martial arts aspect. They'll go, oh yeah, there's the iron body technique, there's the iron hand fist technique. Well, to strengthen up your shins by doing this and that. But they won't mention that area of fighting and is all for the training aspect of the bones. They won't mention that. Okay, now you go anywhere and you ask who's mentioning that in any martial artist anywhere. And obviously it's so obvious, isn't it? Isn't it obvious that it is for that? But ask yourself why nobody is saying that it is, or that has said before now that it is, except for me. Okay? In taking the word fighting for what it is and not infighting, they can see if they haven't mentioned that, you'll know that they're about infighting. They're not about fighting. They're not about the exercise routine aspect. They're not about keeping fit themselves. Now, if anybody's out there that are part of this, I'm sorry. That's how it is. Most people that are experienced would take me on and say, sorry, they'll have honor in that respect, and they'll know the whole reason of self-defense anyways, for not to be to be infighting, and will do their best to stay away from that. And they'll be more so, encouraged and be thankful for hearing this, what I'm saying. Other people, really hope there to be not ignorant people out there, because I need everybody in the world working on this. I need everybody, okay? Because, everybody lives on this earth together, okay? So everybody's got to be on the same level, on the same aspect. You say everybody's different. I say, well, not everybody's different nowadays. If everybody's mistranslating the word fighting for infighting, don't you reckon that everybody's indifferent, not different nowadays? Isn't it? So just think about what's being translated here and what's being mistranslated, and you'll see what's going on in the world. There's a great evil that must be fought, and this is where these fighting and these exercises come in. Now, the ingredients. Now, what gets one in the mood to, first of all, to know what I know, or to know what I know? Seriously, what gets someone to know and to translate such words and to realize such things? Well, I began drinking a lot of water years ago. After my meals, I began focusing on my regular dietary intake, which is just a dietary intake. You got to at least study that. I mean, you got to at least have a sort of a figure that there must be some correct thing to have. You can't just say, "Oh, it's all nonsense." It's all nonsense because not everybody's fit, but everybody's saying it's nonsense, all right? And people aren't, putting in the effort, and that's why they aren't fit. I see time and time people come up to me again, "Oh, you're fitness," and I'll tell them, I study my regular dietary intake. I sort of studied it years ago to find out, and trying to be fit. Some of them, "Oh, that's nonsense." Well, why are they saying that I'm fit for if they're saying that that's nonsense, this and that? And apart from that, seriously, you got to have faith in there being some sort of answers out there. I mean, I've been searching for years, and it says that more or less these things, this is basically the percentage of what the people regular body needs, and you can adjust it more on that. I'm not really for every sort of area. I'm probably lacking in the fiber aspect and a couple of other areas, but I'm not putting that as the final be all and end all. But it's there, so at least you can be conscious of what you're putting in your body. That you can't just eat anything and go for and be in any sort of a mood, or these moods of these exercises, or to be somebody to live a long and healthy life. There are certain things you need to have. Everybody needs to have. There's over 10 billion tons of food that's globally produced each year. That if everybody was to eat around 1 kilo of rice per day, it would only equal around 3 billion tons, at least 7 billion tons left over, and not many people would eat that much. So figure it out. There's so much out there, but yet, the condition of everybody, people are very unfit and unhealthy nowadays. So yeah, to get the body to feel in respect to, to get it compelled to do the exercises, you got to at least study your recommended dietary intakes. Just see what's out there first. I'll tell you what I'm having, all right, so that you might be able to skip a few things, and you might be able to see, okay, maybe this area is a little bit of nonsense. Maybe, because there are people that are preaching keto carnivore diet, and they're saying, "Oh, you only need to eat meat." But, you get your other people saying, "Oh, those carnivores, their intestines aren't shaped the way as people's intestines are, every carnivore." And you can think, how does it equal up if their intestines aren't the same shape as any other herbivore out there? And all the herbivores' intestines are all shaped the same as people's. So you can say, hang on a minute. Maybe there's a bit of both, or maybe that is nonsense. But there's no surety in right now in really what's going on. People all have their own sort of, on what is referred to as opinions. So you got these carnivore people saying the keto, and you got these vegan people saying, "Oh, it's vegan, oh, don't kill animals." But you got to think, well, not all animals are food. If a person's gonna eat of an animal, why should all animals have to be the food for? Is it that all plants are food that you can eat? A lot of plants are poisonous. You'd probably die if you eat them. So who are these people, saying they're vegans, and they're saying, "Oh, because animal cruelty"? What about the plants and all the pesticides and all the chemicals that are sprayed on the plants? And don't they think that there's a right way to do things? Is it that that's the way that they figure that things should be done, and they're being that way to the plants, and they're saying that it's okay to do that to the plants. It's okay to put chemicals on the earth, but no, it's not okay to be cruel to animals. As if that's the only way to go about things. No. All right, there's a proper way to do things. You look after the earth, the water to grow the plants should be enough from the rain. And, if there's animals to eat, you look after them, you take care of them, and you do the quick abattoir so they don't feel it, and everything's all good at the end of the